Shai and Kylie stand facing forward. They both slowly lift their right legs up, taking in the view of the beach around them. They repeat with their left. They repeat again, but swiveling both legs before extending them up. They bend and reach out their arms, taking in more of their surroundings. They spin, offer up both arms in front of them, and then extend their back legs. They bring the palms of their hands together, swiveling them around. They take this moment to assess their accessibility needs in this new space. Their arms then reach up and out to the sky. Their legs circle, feeling the sand, and their legs quickly kick forward. They brush their arms to each side as if they are scooping up sand. Their back legs slowly extend back as they lean forward. They worry that their needs may not be easily met in this beautiful outdoor space. Their arms curve to each side, leading them into a spin. They reach down to touch the sand with their fingertips as their bodies follow. They repeat to the side, ending with their legs kicking high. They try to shake off a tension they feel in their upper body. Knowing access to essential bathroom spaces may be difficult. Their hands wave from side to side. They rotate between grasping at the side and grasping at their heart. They feel a tension between wanting to enjoy this moment and knowing they may not be safe here. Their legs swivel, leading them into a spin. They return to waving their arms to each side. They spiral again, not sure how to move forward. They face backwards. Their arms reach up, leading them to take some cautious steps backwards. Their arms clasp around their back. They take in their surroundings another time before spiraling. Facing forward, their arms come to their chin before quickly breaking away in a jump. They leap to opposite sides, with more fire motivating them now. They face each other, making a fist, then pushing up and quickly pulling into themselves. Kylie leaps as Shai comes to the sand. Kylie starts moving around the space with urgency about the lack of priority given to accessible bathroom spaces at beaches. She comes to meet Shai, and at different levels they both reach out, grasping at the need for change. Kylie rolls to the sand now as Shai stands up. Shai gracefully moves to the center and then extends their leg. They grasp Kylie's head, knowing support for each other is needed. Shai leaps as Kylie leans forward on the ground. Kylie spins to face Shai and reaches forward before standing up. The two of them interweave their arms and then take turns spinning, supporting each other in their turns. Their hands and legs cross, touching each other before spinning to face away. They each kick their back legs as if brushing the sand with their toes. Their bodies wave in exhaustion with their arms following. It is tiring to have to fight for your needs in public spaces. Carmen steps forward with conviction, thinking of the last beach performance. Her arms reach up and grasp at her knee. Then, bending backwards, her arms circle above her head, ending at her side. Holding on to that conviction, she reaches with her palms facing up and then pulls her hands in, a circle around her body. Carmen's arms reach up as her right leg extends high. She wants it to be known. She is strong because she knows we all have a right to be here. Her left leg comes to her knee and she takes a moment for herself as she leans back. As she bends to the ground, she reflects on the pain and hurt that predominantly white beaches have caused in excluding. Both of her legs extend up one at a time as she grasps for that initial strength, and she bends to the ground again after each extension. Carmen slowly releases as she makes a circle with her back. This legacy can take a toll. She slowly rolls up and extends her right arm until she is facing backwards. Her fingers stretch out wide, needing to be heard. Carmen reaches above her head and flutters backwards with her hands floating at her side. She turns to face forward in contemplation as she reaches as far out to the side as she can, seeking a different explanation. She then rubs at her face, knowing she will not find it. She takes steps backwards as her legs point to the side and her hands brush across her chest. Her arms reach out. She spins around herself, and then her arms come up. She feels the tension inside her from last year. She holds her arms up and tries to brush her feet back, but the tension is preventing them from going far. She manages to quickly swipe her feet and breaks free, shuffling to the side until her arms reach up, seeking more of this. She extends back until she falls backwards into quick steps. She extends again. This time, her steps lead to her being upright, with her arms grasping out, up, down, and towards herself. The segregated history of Boston beaches is not gone, and this leads her moving in many different directions. She steps forward 4 times with arms outstretched. She will keep moving. She quickly swings herself to the side, as if punched in the stomach and head. She remembers the line, "This is our beach." Her arms simultaneously reach to the ground and the sky. She pedals her heels and rolls up, She grabs at her ankles and then flicks them away. She can feel both the hurt and the strength creeping up inside her. This time, she grabs at her ankle and swings her entire leg around so she is facing front. Her leg extends and pulls her into a spin, and then again to the ground. She swings and jumps, showing she is a force, and then reached her arm out in front while her leg extends back. Carmen takes a moment to pause before her arms circle around her body until she falls to gravity. She steps forward, pausing again to consider the impact of this legacy and the entitlement others feel over public spaces. Carmen hops around to fill the entire space around her. She then circles her arms again, but this time she does not fall. She stands firm, grounded, and strong. Claire and Carmen start standing in opposite corners. They twirl towards each other like two planes coming down the runway. Their right leg extends backwards, followed by their left leg extending forwards. Their arms scoop up, taking in the vastness around them, while their legs circle behind them through the sand. They jump and kick their legs with a joy that reflects the community around them at Constitution Beach. They take turns rolling to the ground, and Claire takes an extra moment for joy by kicking her legs in the air. They both spin with their legs outstretched, imagining they are the planes flying above them. They wonder, who may be landing soon? What might have been their journey? Their arms spiral contemplating this, and then the spiraling ends with a kick. They take a quiet moment and balance with arms outstretched. They rotate to face different angles while fluttering their arms. They bask in the beauty of this beach, representing the diversity of experiences and journeys that are also coming and going right above them. They step forward with arms crossed in front of them, and step back with arms stretching above their heads. Their wrists and fingers twirl and rotate down to their stomachs before floating above their heads again. They start scooping their hands with their upper bodies following. They truly embody and feel the beauty in all being able to come here and laugh, eat, swim, and be in community. Their legs kick, spinning them around. They step to both sides, reaching, before skipping around themselves, and their arms floating up to the sky. They step forward with hands coming together and then pulling apart, like they are about to take off on their own journey. They reach up and their arms slowly open. Their arms and feet move in a repetitive motion as if digging into the ground, again about to take off. They kick into the air and roll to the ground, spiraling their legs around their back. Sitting in the sand, their arms move from side to side, feeling the joy in this beach. They spin again on the ground. Their arms circle above their heads and they pause with their hands reaching high above them. They pause and slowly let their fingers wiggle through the breeze down to their hips, taking a moment to appreciate the community around them. Then they jump onto their hands, kicking their legs up into the air. They use the momentum to stand and take 2 circular steps backwards before jumping into a leg extension and then back release. They rotate around themselves and their arms rise up. They leap and extend their legs. It's hard to not feel joy here, especially when gathering against adversity in other spaces. They bend forwards and circle their arms before leaping. They twirl. They take a moment to really feel their arms and legs while taking slow steps through the sand, allowing themselves to really take in this joy, acknowledging their presence does belong here. Their legs slowly extend behind them until they kick, spin to the ground, and quickly stand up with arms outstretched. Their arms open slowly, taking one last look up at the plains full of travelers passing by. Kate, Shai, Cassandra, and Andrea stand facing forwards. This community of dancers begins by slowly lifting both legs, twirling around themselves, and reaching to each side. They move with ease, reflecting on their time together at Tinian Beach. They jump. Stepping backwards, they turn with their back legs outstretched. They lean back with palms facing up, an intention to continue building on this community. Their hands flutter as they take steps to the side and forward. Their hands come to their center, forming the shape of a circle with their palms, a visual representation of the community they have felt together and observed here on the beach. They push forward and circle their back with a small release. They step to the side with their back legs extended before spinning. Their hands flutter and open up into another back release. They take their time to enjoy how being in community makes them feel, especially one so beautifully diverse. Their right arms make a 90-degree angle and they take small jumps in place. With their arms still at an angle, they brush their legs to each side. This takes them into a sweeping motion with their legs and then a leg extension to the back. They touch the sand, feeling its warmth, and then roll up. They melt into each side, repeating this a few times. The dancers turn to face each other, making the space of a circle. They release their arms and jump, allowing themselves to feel grounded and weightless. They take a deep bend and allow their heads to circle before pushing to face forwards. Their hands start brushing at their bodies at different times, taking turns to spin and move their palms through the air. In community, they support each other and appreciate each other as individuals. They push at their knees and turn. Their hands come to touch the ground while they reach up to the sky. Then they bend at the knees and slowly release to the ground. They come back up and flutter their arms. Their legs beat and reach forward. Their arms flutter to each side again. Next, adding little hops to each side. They rise on their tiptoes with arms outstretched, feeling a confidence in remembering their last performance at Tinian Beach. They move backwards while taking small steps to touch their toes. They move their arms and legs through the air as if swimming, and then push their legs out to each side. Next, they take steps forward, as if wiggling their toes in the sand. They bend with palms facing up and sway to each side. They take a small release and leap to both sides. With a push to each side, they extend this joy they feel to others in the surrounding community. They release back and throw out their legs and arms before one luxurious leg extension, some spins, and a leap. They repeat to the other side. They know that the representation at this beach is a thing worth celebrating. They face backwards and rotate their toes and heels through the sand. They flex their palms and lean back, and then repeat to the other side. They take their time, really enjoying each movement. They sweep open their arms and come together in pairs with arms interlocked. They jump all together, and then Kate and Cassandra take a moment as a pair. Cassandra moves under Kate's leg, and they end facing Shai and Andrea, who then start their duet. Shai spins, and their leg guides Andrea into a reach and embrace. They step away from each other, and Andrea leaves to join Cassandra while Kate joins Shai. Andrea lifts Cassandra in the air, and the two end in an embracing back release. Kate softly touches Shai's back and then sends them forward. They spin to face each other, jump, spin, and extend their back legs. They come together back to back, making a T with their arms. Shai extends their legs, and then Kate. They end standing next to each other, still making a T with their arms. All the dancers join together and swivel their legs to each side. They kick their legs and step to each side. Their arms rise above their heads and they pause, thankful for the ability to connect with each other in different ways. They kick their legs and their hands flutter in front of them. They bend to the side and lean forward before rotating their legs to stand up. They gracefully glide along the sand facing different directions and then jump before floating their fingers through the air to rise up. Rising with confidence, knowing their community is with them. They kick to the side and spin. Their arms float up and around their faces, taking time to feel comfort in this beautiful beach and their beautiful community. Cassandra stands facing forward. She leaps onto her foot, fluttering her arms. She repeats on her other foot and ends with her arms reaching high. She flutters her arms again, reflecting on how much Boston and its beaches have changed over decades and in recent years. She melts and grabs her knees, pushing them back. Her arms rise again, and she flutters forwards. Her hands fall in sadness for the high bacteria in many Boston beaches this summer. This has a grave impact on families, communities, and loved ones being able to gather. Cassandra reaches out with her arms and leans back twice. She twirls, and her arms slowly fall. The sadness really takes over as she thinks about the lack of care and infrastructure that have left the waters unswimmable. Cassandra has a desire to swim, and so she demonstrates this with her movement. She skips around herself in a circle and kicks her leg high in the air before skipping again. She reaches up and dives into the water. And kicks her feet and jumps through the water. Sadly, she knows she cannot do this for real due to the bacteria. She stretches up and spins around. Her arms reach in different directions as she is seeking care and love to be directed towards these waters. She spins. She spins and reaches her arms out, knowing the local community will be the ones to support in the end. They are the ones taking action via cleanups and dedicated efforts. Cassandra leans and reaches with both arms. She steps with her toes rising to her knees. She feels conflicted. She is thankful for the community showing up, but sad that those with the power are not here. She moves to the sides and then the corner. She runs to different corners and then pushes back with arms pushing out. She spins around herself and her arms slowly fall. Her hands flutter up in hopes that she may one day swim again in the Boston beaches. Forward with arms crossed in front of themselves. They gracefully start to move by circling their left leg back as their arms float up. They take small steps and flutter their hands as their back leg rises behind them. They extend up in a long stretch of their body, pondering what meaning the beach holds for them. They spin, bend to the ground, and reach up to spin again. Their arms extend up, curl down, and lead into a small hop. Andrea extends their arms and reaches to both sides, starting to grasp for different meanings and stories they have had while being at the beach. They spin, trying to make sense of these different memories. Andrea's arms intertwine, pulling them down and then back up. They waltz from side to side, and then in larger sweeping movements, thinking of the vastness of the beach and thus the range of what can be possible. They step forward with their palms up. They think of increasing joy and playfulness. They extend their leg and reach to the sand, relaxed and at ease. They move from side to side, jumping like children skipping on the sand. They step and bend forward, the weightedness reminding them of conflict and unease that can also arise. They sweep their arms from side to side as if brushing away sand, remembering the feeling of being observed and watched. Andrea spins. They try to make sense of these different and conflicting meanings. Taking 2 large leaps, they open themselves up to more possibilities, ones that others may hold now and in the future. Their hands flutter and grasp for the potential they feel. Their arm opens up and guides them around the space. They allow themselves to imagine the future occurring right in front of them. They face backwards, and their arms continue to guide them, drawing out what their hopes of a radically accessible and inclusive beach could look like. continue envisioning while walking the entire width of the sand. Then, Andreas spins and skips on a diagonal to come forward. Their leg sweeps front and back, calling on a playfulness they once felt here. They reach up and slowly melt down as they bask in this feeling. They bend down and reach up, waltzing from side to side before extending upwards and around with their arms. They make a large circle and twirl twice before spinning along the diagonal backwards and then forwards. Their vision of Boston beaches would include gender-neutral, accessible bathrooms, racial inclusion, clean water, and joy for all. They skip in a circle with hope until they reach the front. Their arms open up and move them around themselves, allowing that hope to seep into themselves. They step backwards with arms reaching out, and they move to sit in the sand, looking out into the future of a truly public beach.